Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Sham. So Sunday Satsang, May 29, 2022. So I'd like to welcome everybody to Sunday Satsang, Dhanavat Pranams, and all the people on the internet, all the devotees, Dhanavat Pranams. So let's begin. One thing I must say, we'll hear a lot of things being said here that we never heard before. Because I have spent 47 years following this bhakti path, and I was learning the knowledge of bhakti from a particular line of thought. And about 10, 15 years ago, I changed my line of thought. I learned a different conception, and so those conceptions aren't in agreement many times. So I gave up the modern conceptions that I had previously learned to adopt the traditional conceptions and tapas and philosophy taught by the 6 Goswamis and the traditional Gaudiya Vaisnavas. So sometimes what I speak doesn't agree with the modern ideas in various spiritual missions. Like, for example, I talk about Namavas. In some spiritual missions, they talk all about Namavas, 4 stages of Namavas. And it doesn't have anything that nobody talks about except the modern Gaudiya Vaishnava. Traditional Vaishnavas, they don't talk anything about Namavas. Namavas is not a stage of chanting for someone who's got neck beads and java beads. Namavas is accidental chanting, it's joking chanting, it's indirect chanting, it's indicating something else. It has anything to do with chanting japa as a practice of sadhana bhakti. As I said, I mentioned this is coming out. You can hear it. As I said in the Tika of Vishwanath on Canto 6, Chapter 2, verses 9 through 14, he has a 31-page Tika about a Jamil chanting at Namavas. And there he says there's 2 stages of chanting, Namaparad and Vaikuntha Rohana. So either you're making offense to the holy name or you're not. As soon as you stop making 10 offenses, you're going to Vaikuntha. Well, that's it, finished. So there's Ashudna means with offenses, and Shudna is without offenses. So this is the traditional teachings, this is what the Goswamis teach, and this is what the original teachings are. But some modern contemporary acharyas and founders of missions, they introduced the idea of Namavas and confused a lot of people. They don't know what it was, Namavas. But Namavas, the 4 types of Namavas don't have anything to do with an ordinary chanter. No one sits down. Someone sits down to make fun of the holy name, parihasita. No one sits down to indicate something else. No one sits down to call their son Narayan. It's not like that. Everyone, when they sit down, it's intentional. You're making intention, I'm going to chant japa. So there's no such thing as Namavas. So like this, many things we say run against what we learn. We have to decide who we want to follow. So I'll leave that at that. So now, that was like, whatever that was like introduction or something, I don't know. So some questions? Hey, hello. I haven't seen you in a long time. Nice.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Radha Kunda. Any questions? You have any questions? Yes, sir.
Maharaj, sometimes we read in the scriptures and various shastras like Ragvartma Chandrika, etc. that while doing japa, you can meditate on Radha Krishna's pastimes. But
you can try.
Yes, no, I'm just saying, they just mention that you can remember. There is a process to remember Radha Krishna pastimes. We are trying to remember by getting into the split succession by Guru, then serving Rup Goswami, then Guru Maharaj. So if we try to approach Radha Krishna through Guru, then through Rup Goswami, and sometimes they mention that you can't serve Radha Krishna directly. You have to go through Gurudev, then Rup Goswami. and then Rum Goswami, on behalf of you, he will serve. So if we are so much exalted that we are serving Radha Krishna directly, so is it not turning into a sadhya type of thing, that we are just doing it out of that we are thinking ourselves so exalted that we are serving or trying to meditate Radha Krishna directly?
Okay, so the question is, if we're meditating on Krishna's Leelas in a Swarup of a Manjari and doing seva there, isn't this sadhya that we're just approaching directly? Was Radhikar for this? This is a method of bhajan that's taught by the 6 Goswamis, Seva Sakarupa and Sarupa and Chatri. And your Sakarupa is your hearing and chanting, and your mentally conceived spiritual body, you serve Radha and Krishna. You serve them directly as you see it described in Sankalpa Kalpadruma by Vishnu Chakravarti, or Vilav Kusumanjali by Raghunath Das, or Utkalika Vallabhi by Rupa Goswami Pad. And many books are describing, going into the Dhammarita, describing service of the manjaris. So that can be any manjari, not only Rupa Manjari. There's different ways you can go. You can serve alongside your Guru Sakhi. You can be assistant to your Guru Sakhi, and assistant to Rupa Manjari or Rati Manjari, Tulsi Manjari, and for your pastime. Or you can be independently serving themselves. Like in Praying Bhakti Chandrika, verse 56 or 52 or something like that. Narottam says, when will I stand behind Rupa? And Rupa will introduce me to Radha and Krishna. And they'll say, Rupa will say, I have this new manjari, nice new manjari for you. I've ordered you to engage in your service. So Rupa will hand me over to Radharani to serve Radharani directly, and I'll do my service. Because when we take Sipranal, we're giving an individual service. It's not that, we're giving a service of fanning. It's not that Rupa Goswami holds a fan, and we put our hand on the fan, and we fan along Rupa Goswami. Like when you offer an arti, you don't go in and hold hands with the head Bajari. If you're a Brahmin initiated, it's your turn, you go in and you twirl the chamar yourself. You know, I'm a Brahmin, I have my turn off arti. No, you can't do it, you have to hold my hand. So Mukunda Datta and you will both be standing rubbing chamar. It's not like that. It's your puja, your Thakurji, first been done by you. So it's not sadhya, because it's all it's all anugatya. Everything is anugatya and parampara. Sadhyism is thinking I'm Krishna, my girlfriend is Radharani, and we're trying to perfect Madhurya Bhav by having conjugal relationships with man and woman, and trying to understand what is the love of Radha and Krishna through a combination, kind of like Kundalini or something like that. And that's called sadhya. But serving in allegiance with the Sakhi Manjaris, this is not sadhya. This is the way of bhajan. You'll serve yourself and your Manjari Srupa, you serve alongside your Gurudev or your Guru Vargas. Many combinations are there. But the whole thing is, you're not just by yourself. Yes, it's right. It's a group function. It's all anugatya. Sometimes you're alone, sometimes you're in the kunj, you're alone, Radharani. You're the only one in there fanning. Because a lot of times when Radha Krishna get their Sakhis run out, because it's too intimate for them to be there, only manjaris are there. In Vrindavan Mamrita, it describes how one manjari, who's that manjari? It can be any manjari, it can be you manjari. Manjari is fanning Radharani and Krishna in the flower bed, and Radharani takes the manjari's hand and pulls her in the bed with him. Doesn't say, oh, go get Rupa Manjari, and you have to come in, if you're going to get in my bed, you have to come in with Rupa Manjari. Go get your Sakhi Manjari, if you're going to get in the bed, you have to come in. This is one Manjari, one Radharani, one Krishna. This is Vrindavan Mahimamrita. So it's very individual. Krishna wants to be loved individually. It's not that one Govardhan Shila is being worshipped by every bhakta. Bhakti has their own Govardhan Shila, I have my own Govardhan Shila. Everybody has a Govardhan Shila. We're all worshiping ourselves. But we have a big, but we're not there. It's not just my picture on the altar and next to your eyes and nobody else. I have my group from, I don't have my picture on the altar. On my altar, I have my Guru Parampara's picture, and I have Gaurnita, I have Panchatattva, and Vaitacharya and Radharani and Krishna, all group of personalities, and I'm Anukatya to all of them. So it's always it's like that in bhajan, it's like that in Nitya Leela also. We're always surrounded by others. We're just one of the gang. We're one of the Sakhis. Sakhi means a girlfriend. It's not a solitary thing, you know. It's just me and Radha and Krishna. Maybe for some time, it won't be for long. Soon enough, the love fast times will be over, things will be so intimate. Then the Sakhis will come running in and make fun of Radharani and joke with her. And you'll be alone for 5-10 minutes, a half hour, and an hour later, 20 Sakhis and Manjis will be there. Breeze from Radharani's lotus feet. Refreshing. Very nice. Hari Katha is very soothing. At least today. Is that clear? You don't want it to be personal?
No, Maharaj, I was just seeing my position and then.
Oh, your position is good. Go forward. You're going right. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Have any questions, Muralika? Now you're busy with your kids and husband and meals and puja and singing, and I see your movies, you're having kirtan and all circus going on, kids running around and ladies, and it's a wild scene there. And then you give the evil eye to your kids. The kids are sitting there, and kids are never into this stuff, you know. When the parents want to chant, the kids are never into it. And she looks at her daughter like, chant. And then her daughter looks back and says, no. And then she looks at her son. I see on her movie, you know. She looks at her son, says chant. He looks at the ground, doesn't even pay attention to her. Like, he's sitting there, he's hearing, but he's not. He's hearing, but they're hearing, but they're not chanting. And she looks at us and says, "Oh, these lousy kids," you know, because she's playing harmonium and leading, you know. Everybody else, some other girls playing, everybody else is into it. Her kids are like, "It's so boring. My mother's singing again. I want to play. Why should I get all these people out of my house? I want to play." And my mother's doing this whole kirtan, big kirtaneer thing, you know. It's tough life. It's tough trying to be a good devotee when you have kids. They'll get you rude and mood. So where's the question? Sir, you have a question? You have good questions. Yeah, you. I like your voice too. It's a real deep voice. Hello. Krishna has a deep voice too. I like it. It reminds me of Krishna. Go ahead.
At which stage of bhakti this lobha greed actually manifests?
The question is, when is stage of lobha or greed to worship Radha Krishna Rag Marg, when it manifests? It's not a stage when it manifests. It manifests when it manifests. There's no when. It's not. It's at the level. 97% Arjuna then it manifests. 95% Arjuna doesn't manifest. But that's nothing like that written. It just comes by the mercy of a guru or a Vaishnava or Krishna. Machala Baika Hetuka says in first wave of Bhakti Siddhanta chapter 2 verse 309. The Vaika Machala Vaika Hetuka says Bhagavan Krunya Bhakta Krunya. By the mercy of a Bhakta or Bhagavan, you get the greed comes. It just comes. You're reading a book, you can read some books, you see some murtis, hear some classes, and you say, I want this, I'm interested in this. It's called Kinchira Anubhuti. Kinchira Anubhuti means, Kincha means a little. You have a little interest, a little attraction, that's all you need to start. It can be any time. You've been practicing Bhakti Bhajan for 50 years and have no interest in it. You get somebody go into Lila Amrita and you ask them a week later, what do you think? I looked at a few pages, it's too boring. I don't know. They won't get into it. And they have no greed. You're 30, you can test out, you want to test someone else's greed. You know some old devotees, 34 years. You give them Krishna Kamudi, Bhavana Sarasangra, and go into Lila Amrita. So I'll lend you these books for 2 weeks. I'll get back to you. Move over. Oh, so you're blocking the way here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's better. you sit down, everyone else has to move because you're blocking. You're like 5 feet wide, you know. Big guy, big elephant comes in. You can't. So there's no. It's just you. When it happens, run with it. Thank your stars. Many times people ask me what I'm reading, and I say, I'll give you a copy. I got plenty of them. Bhavana Sangra. Okay, let me see this. What's all this stuff you're crazy about? And they come back a week later, I don't like this. I don't have an appetite for it. No appetite, no greed. As I said before, 99 out of 100 people that are in Krishna Bhakti with Tulsi Kanti, Krishna Das, Radhasi, they have no interest at all in Rag Marg, zero. They want to hear a good kirtan, they want a good feast, want to hear some good gossip, and live happily, boss. Be healthy and get panchakarma every 2 years and keep yourself tuned up. Keep on rolling. Revitalize your system. I've done that before. I did it back in the 80s. I went a couple of times to South India. But now I took a vow and never leave Braj. Of course, they have panchakarma and Braj also, some imitation wallows. I don't know. Real thing is South India, or Udupi or somewhere like that. Kerala is the real thing. But my health is all in Braj. whatever health there is to be found is going to be found in Braj. The health here is prem. You get that prem, you're the healthiest individual in the universe. And the only place you're going to get prem is in Braj. You won't get prem in the Kerala Ayurvedic Center. Guarantee. You get a good enema and a good massage and good oil drip on your head, make you relax. Put some cups, wheat flour cups around your eyes, and put some oil on it. And do some cool tricks. And rice bag massage, that's the best. It's four guys with a karai with hot milk and herbs in it. And there's a muslin bag with a kilo of rice flour. And they dip it and they slide it up and down your arm. It's 4 guys in your whole body. 1 guy in each arm, 1 guy each leg, and 1 guy in the middle. And you just slide, and that's the greatest thing. Right, your Vata Prakruti, it's the greatest thing in your bones. It's called, I forget the name, but that's a good one. You ever had that one done? Rice bags, hot milk, and herbs, so great herbs and stuff. Cost 30,000 rupees for 2 weeks or something. Really costly stuff. It was fun. But I haven't left Rush since 2010. I'm not going. I'm only going one. When I go one, I'm going to go one place, one time. Go look, Rosie. Jaya Radhe Shah. So let's ask some questions. There's a statement in Ukkalika Vallari, verse 35 and 36, something like that. Rupa Goswami has a verse. He says, "What's my fault? What's my fault in this? Radha Krishna, what's my fault? You performed such attractive leelas. I got attracted, I got interested, I started following Radha Bhakti. Now people are criticizing me. What's my fault, Radha Krishna? You made me crazy to want to serve you and be run after you." There's 2 verses, really nice verses, that Waitadas pointed out to me. Ukkalika Vallari. Rupa Goswami saying, "What's my fault? So these are great verses to argue with. People say, well, you're not qualified to do this. So I'm sorry, what's my fault? Rupa Goswami says, no. They made me, Radha Krishna made me crazy. I just want to be their manji. Well, who are you? You're nobody. You're a stinky nobody, you know. What's your qualification? You're nobody. Okay, I'm nobody, but I'm greedy for this. I want this. So get out of my way. And just give him a straight arm and run down the gridiron with the football under your arm. Jaya Radhe. Don't take no for an answer. No, you can't. No, you can't means, yes, I'm going full speed. Watch me now. Even there's a verse in 11th canto, you may run down the path of Rag Marg with blindfold, but you won't fall. You won't fall the path. It's 11th canto, teaching of Krishna. You may run down, if you're practicing Raghunaga Bhakti, you may run down the path with a blindfold on. You won't trip or fall off the path. That's how solid the path is and how powerful Rag is. If you have Rag, attraction, attachment to Radha Krishna, it's sort of like a Brijvasi Manjari, especially Manjari. You can run down full speed, go around Parikram with a blindfold, you won't trip or fall. You believe me? You look like doubting there. I think so. I don't know. I didn't record that. I just off the record. Question? Ganapati, you're madly writing there. Ganapati's writing the Vedas for Vyasadeva. Yeah, Ganapati wrote, Vyasadeva spoke, Ganapati wrote, you know. And he's like that. He's Ganapati is the general name. He's always writing. He's a very good student in school. He's always writing. But he remembers also. Do you have any questions, Ganapati? No. Okay. Kushal Ji Radhe Radhe. Yeah, okay.
How is it like when Radharani takes bath, like she maybe has 3 baths in morning, how the manjaris, they also do similar bathing in morning like Radharani, or they just make quick bath when they run for their seva?
What did you say? What did she say? Something about the manjari's bathing, Radharani's bathing. I missed. I couldn't put the piece together.
How Manjari's bath, is it similar to Radharani's bath? They take a quick bath.
How manjari's bathe?
Like Radharani takes like 3 baths, so the manjari do also similar, or they just do quickly and they go for seva?
The question is about manjari's bathing, Radharani's bathing. Radharani's Rani. Radharani's Rani, and the manjaris are handmaidens. They're maid servants of the queen. They're dasis. Dasis, they're always 5 seconds ahead of time, you know. The manjari gets 10 seconds to take a bath. The manjari just jumps in a kund somewhere, Vishori Kund or Vrishavana Kund or some kund, and runs up. By the time she runs to the top of the hill, Marsal, she's dried off. Her clothes are on the top of the hill, and she has a gumshoe or a bathrobe or whatever she has on. She jumps in a kund, Vishori Kund, and runs up the hill. By the time she gets to the top, she's dried off, and she changes. Manjaris, they don't waste any time bathing or anything. We don't read anything about their waste. They're just there. They get up ahead of time. They're last to sleep and the first to get up. They go to sleep at Radharani takes rest at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. She takes rest after Rasa, and she starts getting up about 3:36. Radharani rests for about an hour and a half. The gopis, the manjaris rest for about an hour. Hardly they're resting. And when they're resting, you think I gotta make these garlands. So I wake up, I pick the flowers already before I went to sleep. I wake up, I had to make Gokul flowers for Radharani's mala. I had to grind the sandalwood paste, make it fresh. They had so many thoughts in her head, they gave me to sleep for that 1 hour. You know, you're going to dress the deities on Janmashtami, and it's the night before Janmashtami. You won't be sleeping. You'll be thinking about what you're going to dress, how you're going to dress, and it's a new outfit, and how, you know. So when you have seva, you can hardly sleep at all. The thing is, when you have seva, your mind is very active. It's very fresh and very active when you have seva. When you don't have seva, you get very dull. Because the modes of seva is transcendental. If you're not in the transcendental mode of, if you're not in the transcendental position of seva, then the three modes are competing. Three modes are competing for supremacy to take control of your identity. Tamagun, Rajagun, mostly. No, Savagun doesn't play a role here. Savagun means you're doing seva. It's transcendental. I was hearing some lectures by Satyanarayan, which are very nice. I really liked it. He was explaining about the nature of the Jivatma, Vivanamsa Jiva. Because we grew up in a place where they said, Bhagavan is Satchidananda. Bhagavan is Satchidananda, and the Jivatmas are also Satchidananda. Is that true or false? That is false. Bhagavan is Satchidananda. The jivas are sat. There's no chit and there's no anand. This is from the Sandarbhas, it's also explained. Very nice point. The jivatma is eternal part of consciousness. It's consciousness and aware. I'm conscious. I'm conscious. And I know I'm eternal. But we don't have chit. We don't have anand. There's no anand. Where's anand? We're always in misery. We're always stupid or anadi by our mukh. It says anadi, avidya. Vidya, ignorance is eternal. The conditioned souls are eternally covered by ignorance, and they're eternally miserable. So how do you get chit and ananda? You get chit and ananda when you get diksha. You're gonna need another pair of glasses pretty soon. I'm gonna break the ones you have now. Your eyes are popping on your head. Boy. The jiva is sat. That's it. Sat. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. So, when we get Diksha, then we get the seed of bhakti. What's the seed of bhakti? Seed of bhakti is Chit and Anand. Chit is San Vit Shakti, and Anand is Ladani Shakti. So when you get Diksha from a guru, and you get the Bhakti Lata Bija, when the ingress of bhakti comes in your heart, it brings with it chit and ananda. And then there's a chance to experience bliss. An experience to learn, get real knowledge and wisdom, become a wise person. Without the mixture of bhakti in the heart, you can never really get knowledge. Even if you're a jnani, without touch of bhakti, you can't realize jnana. So this is a nice new point also. The jivas are sat, they're not satchidananda. Because sometimes they say vivu chit and anuchit. They say the jiva is anuchit. He's little chit. But Bhagavan is vivu chit. He's big satchidananda. We're minutely satchidananda, and Bhagavan is unlimitedly satchidananda. That's not the truth. This is nowhere in Sandarbhas, nowhere in teaching of Goswamis. So you don't have diksha, you don't have bhakti, you're only sat. There's no bliss for you, and there's no knowledge for you. You'll always be eternally ignorant. You think, I'm Mr. richest guy in the world, I'm Mr. this and that. It's all ignorance, it's all ego. It's all ego-driven ignorance. Because without bhakti, you live in the ego. It's all you live in is the ego. When bhakti comes in, you can live in the Atma. Satchidanand. You become blissful also. Bhakti makes you blissful. Doesn't it? No? Any debates on this point?
When we say that the jiva is sat only, not chid and anand, and when we say that the jiva is satchidanand, then we are referring to its sarupa, which is not manifested. In that sense, we are saying that he is satchidanand.
What, can you say that question again?
When we say that the jiva, usually we say
A
that
nityabhata jiva, an ordinary jiva, there's millions and billions of jiva, some are human body, most of them aren't, and they're all in ignorance, and they exist eternally in their ignorance. There's no happiness there. But if they get bhakti bija in their heart by Krishna Guru, then they get chit and anand. Without bhakti bija, there's no chit and anand, no matter human form or any form. If you initiate a dog, you got such in on the dog. I don't know. They can't really hear so well. Diksha mantras. They can't repeat them either. You have to have human tongue with human ear. That's the advantage. Human form, everyone has ear and a tongue, but humans have human ear and human tongue. With human tongue and human ear, you can hear and chant about Krishna. I just met a person who was just visiting me before class. He's married, has a 2-year-old kid, a little girl. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm working. I said, you doing bhakti? He said, devotee. He chants Hari Krishna. He's a kirtan guy. He's not initiated. He said, I'm too busy in my job. I said, you're wasting your life, man. Your job and family, no bhakti. What are you doing? Get with it. I gave him the sauce. I said, I have to wake up people. This crime, human form of life is very rare. Manasa janma durlabha. What was that song? Govinda Das Kairaj. How does it go? Manasa janma durlabha.
Tadapi adruvam astiram. Durlabham manusam janma.
Anyway, human form of life is very rare. You shouldn't waste it surfing on internet, talking for Java, just every minute's valuable. There's Krishna's been very kind to us. He's given us two mercies. What are the 2 mercies that Bhagavan has given to us? First of all, he's made all arrangements for maintain our existence. Krishna's given us air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat, shelter, digestive food. He's given everything to maintain our existence is given by God. That's the first install of mercy. We're grateful to God for air that we breathe and the water we drink and the food we eat. And we're grateful for God for digesting our food and keeping our body working in a healthy position. But the second mercy of God is Shastra. Krishna gave us Shastra. Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Gita, Upanishads, Itihas, Ramayana. All these Shastras are given by God or rishis, empowered by God. And these Shastras will give us liberation. They give us freedom from birth and death. These Shastras will give us peace and happiness and joy eternally. So this is the greatest mercy Bhagavan has given us. The greatest mercy is Shastra. Even they say the greatest charity someone can give is transcendental knowledge. There's different charities. Kanyadan, you marry a virgin girl, that's a kind of a charity called Kanyadan. There's giving golden charity, giving a house to a poor person charity. Anadan, giving grains, giving food. Anadan, Sonadan, giving gold, giving land. So many kinds of dan and charity are there that for punya and sukriti and good things to do to help people and benefit yourself also. But the greatest charity one can give is give one transcendental knowledge. That's why book distribution, it's going on so much by ISKCON especially, is a very great charity for the world. It's saving the world, all this transcendental knowledge. They're distributing like crazy. Every language, 50 languages. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest contribution. All the Shastras proclaim the greatest charity is knowledge. Transcendental wisdom is the greatest form of charity. So those devotees that speak knowledge and distribute knowledge are the greatest charitable persons. So the gurus and acharyas and teachers that we know and we worship, we're grateful to them. And we pray for all their long lives as they're all benefiting so many people. All the preachers of the world, they're all mad to be on YouTube and and everywhere showing their face and speaking Hari Katha. It's a great thing, a great contribution. See these guys all over the place. They're on Ravi Shankar, Sadguru, you know, Vinod Baba, this one, that one, all kinds of Babas, and Punri Goswami, and all kinds of acharyas and gurus. They're all speaking transcendental wisdom and knowledge to benefit the world. It's a very wonderful time, a really wonderful time we're in. It's a grand time. It's the worst of time and it's the best of time. It's Kali Yuga, but it's so nice. There's so much Hari Katha and Kirtan going on. It's a great blessing. You're a great chanter of the holy name. It's good. God gave you a good voice, powerful voice. You're a great welfare worker. Chant more. I was very happy to see your films with your girlfriends getting together to chant Hare Krishna. Do it more and more. I want to see more films on your channel. I feel proud of you. I feel happy to see it. Oh, I know this is my Muralika. You're doing what you do best. This girl's a smart one. She's a translator and a writer and speaker. She's kind of a smart one. She's your karto player, but she's busy all the time, editing stuff and uploading stuff. She's got a degree of philology. I don't know what I don't even know how to spell. I don't know how to spell it. It has something to do with words. Something to do with words. And she speaks. She chants. She teaches people Russian, English. She's a teacher. She's like a professor type. What did you say? You made a comment? What was that? You said something?
No, I said.
What did you say?
Science of languages, philologos.
Science of languages, yeah. She knows the science of language. I like her language.
It's from Greek philosophy.
Huh?
Philology. It's from Greek language.
Yeah, it's all Greek to me.
It's not Sanskrit anyway.
Yeah, she's a scholar. I don't know what she's doing with me, but she's there. Okay, questions. My friend from Japan. It's you. It's you. You're my old friend.
Chanting Hare Krishna and Radhe Radhe. Any Jiva?
Radhe Radhe?
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Vrindavan, Radhe Radhe. but we usually chant Hare Krishna. Any difference?
So you're saying Vrindavan everything's Radhe Radhe, but we always chant Hare Krishna. What's going on?
What is the difference he's asking?
What are you saying?
What is the difference he's asking?
Is there any difference?
What is the difference between Radhe Radhe and Hare Krishna? I don't know. I like Radhe Radhe more myself. Sorry. No, I didn't know about Radhe Radhe. I'm an old dog, and I first found out about Hare Krishna mantra in 1974. And I chanted that, and I came to Vrindavan in 1977. Then I found out about Radhe Radhe. I said, oh, this is nicer. But then I found out you get beat up if you chant Radhe Radhe. So I didn't chant Radhe Radhe very much publicly. And I was initiated in the Hare Krishna mantra by my teacher, and he told me to chant this mantra. So I have respect for my teacher. So I follow my teacher. I chant Hare Krishna mantra. But my teacher said if I'm on Braj Yatra or it's Radhasmi, or I just feel like it, I can also chant Radhe Radhe. I have Radhe Radhe Kirtan. I have it in my house sometimes alone or with friends. And it's fun. Radhe, in Vrindavan it's Radhe Radhe. You got that part right. But outside of Vrindavan it's Hare Krishna. That's also true. In Japan the people are more chanting Hare Krishna and chanting Radhe Radhe. But you're a Brajasi type devotee. You like Radha Kunda. You come here in the middle of the summer, hottest time of the year. You come here, and it doesn't bother you because you're like a yogi, and you like Radharani. You're initiated over here by your guru, and Radha Kunda. So you like Radharani. So you're a lucky person. So Radharani's accepted you. So you've been accepted by Radharani, by a guru that worships Radharani. Then you have all right and access to chant Radharani's name as much as you want, whenever you want. So chant Radhe, 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 Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Gopala, Radhe. Radhe, 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 Jaya Sri Radhe, 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 Jaya Sri Radhe, 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 Radhe,
Radhe, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe.
Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Shyam. Jayo, thank you for reminding us of Radharani. That was great. Now we know where we're living. Tavevasmi, Tavevasmi, Najivami, Tvayavina, Iti Vigera, Devi Tvam, Nayamantra, Natika. Soon will be rainy season. We're hoping, but June hasn't come yet. June is the hottest month of the year. So hold on. Any questions?
I have questions.
No, later internet. Thank you. Yes, sir.
If you talk about Radharani, it's okay if people instead of losing a meaning of name of Radharani. Instead of thank you Radhe Radhe, bye bye Radhe Radhe, how are you Radhe Radhe, is not losing the meaning of name of Radharani in this way. There's Radhe Radhe everywhere, so say thank you Radhe Radhe, bye bye Radhe Radhe.
So what is your question?
It's not losing the real meaning of name of Radharani if you use the name everywhere for all reasons. So instead of thank you, instead of bye bye, instead of I don't know.
Very interesting question. Is it right? Is it the right meaning of the name Radharani as we hear it used in Vrindavan They say Radharani means hello, Radharani means goodbye, Radharani means thank you, Radharani means, like even a Gunda before he shoots you and robs you, he says Radharani, boom, boom, boom. So they always say in Vrindavan, they tell you the sweet thing before they give you the bitter. So before he shoots you in the head, he chants Radha. He says Radharani, boom, boom, boom. And you're finished, and he takes your property, makes a fake deed, and takes over your land. That's how it goes on. Property mafia. So is it the right meaning of Radharani's name? Radharani means everything. Radharani, how much is the pumpkin? Radharani, how much are a kilo of apples? Radharani, how much rickshaw? Bangavihari Mandir, Kitna Rupiah, Radharani. The thing is, this is Vrindavan, and people can't help but say Radharani all the time. Hello, Radharani, goodbye, Radharani, how are you, Radharani? So it's not harmful. It's nice. Krishna likes to hear Radharani's name. When somebody chants Radharani's name, Krishna comes running. You chant his name, he doesn't hear, he's too busy, he doesn't hear.
But it's very important in a way how we spell.
Don't matter. Why do you wait this way? Just chant Radhe Radhe and see what happens. Chant the wrong way. Whatever you think is the wrong way, chant Radhe Radhe, chant the wrong way. And chant the right way. And chant every way. Wrong, right, in between. Day and night, all the time. And you'll be a winner. This is Vrindavan. Even the trees are chanting Radhe. You go to Tadiyastan, the sadhus of Tadiyastan, Vrindavan, the trees all have Radharani's name written in the bark. The trees are chanting Radhe Radhe. Vrindavan mein Kankan bole, Shri Radha Radha. Vrindavan mein Kankan bole, Shri Radha. Vrindavan, Kankan. Kankan means a small pebble, a small little pebble. Kankan. Kankan bole. In Vrindavan, the small pebbles are saying Shri Radha Radha, Shri Radha. Nidhiban me bandur bole, Shri Radha. Nidhiban me bandur bole. In Nidhiban, in the forest of Nidhiban, the monkeys are saying Shri Radha Radha, Radha Radha, Shri Radha Radha. Some kind of Radha, Shri Radha, Radha. You have to have the ear to hear it. You have the ear to hear Radha, you hear Radha's name everywhere. Like some people are very advanced consciousness to hear celestial music in the atmosphere. They can hear Gandharvas. Gandharvas are playing up there. Some people can hear the Gandharvas. There was a guy named Mozart. You know, Mozart is a famous musician. He said when he was 5 years old, he saw music floating through the air. He opened his eyes, he saw musical notes in the sky. And he took them out of the sky, wrote them down, wrote music. Mozart. He's a famous pianist, Mozart. So there's a different kind of people, sensitivity.
Right. Sensitivity of spelling names.
Sensitivity, it's high vibration. People have different vibrational consciousness. I have a dog whistle. You blow it, you can't hear the dog. Oh, 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 oh. It's 60,000 decibels per second. We can only hear up to 20,000 decibels maximum. And the dog whistle makes 60,000. You go, woo, you don't hear a dog goes, rah, rah, rah. It's called dog whistle, you know? You don't know? So we're calling dogs. So we don't have a dog whistle, we chant Radhe Radhe. We call Radha Radhe, we call Krishna, everybody comes running. There was a guy in the Vrindavan Prikamark back in 1989. I was doing, I was living over there in Vrindavan. And he's just living there in the Prikamar 12 months a year. And people would come and drop him bread and food and stuff. He dug a little hole on the side of Prikamar like a dog. He dug out a concavity. It's a little warmer there, And people throw him blankets. He was there 24 every month. All day long, he was lying in the sand. He had like Cobans on or something, big beard. He just say, Radhe, 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 Radhe. That was really cool. It was all the time, just Radhe, 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 Radhe. So he had about 10 dogs circumambulating his hole. He had about 10 dogs. The 10 dogs around him. Because he was given so much bread, he was feeding all the dogs. He would throw a loaf of bread and rotis and stuff. So he had all these dogs. Because I was with Subhag Swami, so I wanted to go talk to the guy and find out how he ended up like crazy and like I wanted to talk to him. So we went to approach him, and all these 10 dogs went, Rah! They all stood up and started attacking us. I said, wow, this guy's got a good security system. He's surrounded by 10 dogs,
Yeah, but the dogs, they just repeating because they want food or they, I don't know, the owner say to do that. But the dog doesn't realize the name of Radharani or Krishna.
I don't know what the dog, what do you know what the dog realized?
I just,
The Vrindavan dogs are different. No, there's a dog in Gaudiya Mandir over here. Gaudiya Mandir. Every evening he slept in the temple, in the Prachin Gaudiya Mandir, or the Nitai Baitak, the Nitai's Charans there. That's the old Gaudiya Mandir. The original one, old one. And he slept in the temple, black dog. And every evening for Arti, you could come out in Arti, you could stand at these, the guy's ringing the bell, and he go, oh, 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 oh. And they're going, dong, 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 dong. As soon as the last bell and dong, then he stopped and sat down on the back of his feet. Then next Arti comes, he stand, oh. And one time I was standing there in Arctic, and I stepped back because some guy got in front of me. It was like, he was back. Some people would go to take darshan, the deities, and they start walking back. They don't care what they're walking, who's behind them. They're just in Bob or something. Guys look at the deities walking back, and he said, wait a minute, guy, there's no room to move. He gets back right into me, big guy. And then I stepped back. I stepped on a dog, singing dog, And he went, whoa! Oh, God, I'm sorry. I went out and bought him biscuits. I came in and paid obeisance and gave him biscuits. Tell him to forgive me because he's a big bhakti, He's singing Artik every day. I stepped on him accidentally. So I went out and bought some biscuits and gave him. He was happy. So these dogs who were surrounding this guy, they were attracted around his name. They didn't come there for a piece of bread.
hopefully,
I know. It takes one to know one. I'm a dog, so I know dogs how they think. Now the dogs came before the bread came. The dogs were with the guy who was chanting Radha Radhe, whether it was bread or no bread. The dogs wanted to be with this guy. He had good vibration. These are Vrindavan dogs. They're not ordinary dogs. Dogs in Vrindavan are not ordinary. The dogs in Navadvip were best friends of Nimai. Chaitanya Mangal talks about Nimai's pet dog. He was playing with dogs, and that dog was chanting Radhe Sham in the marketplace and got liberated. So Dham dogs are special. 1988, I went on Brajmandal Parikramah with Lokanath Swami and ISKCON, about 50 devotees all. And one dog follows the whole way around Brajmandal for 30, 40 days. He's with the Kirtan party. Every time I went to a new village, all the dogs say, hey, this is a foreign dog. This dog is not from our village. And all the dogs are coming to attack him. And he's hiding between the legs of all the Kirtan devotees. And the other dogs are coming in. Rah, rah, the devotees are chasing him out. The dogs are hiding with the Kirtan devotees. It's so funny. And he was eating Maharaj the whole time. He was a happy dog. He was there the whole parikramah. When the parikramah was done, he disappeared. He went over. The dogs are special. Every living entity is special in Vrindavan. Oh, a lucky dog all day long, right. They like it. They feel happy. Right. And somebody come and disturb the guy. Hey, don't disturb our chanter. Because you talk to him, he's going to stop chatting, and where the head can. So the dogs are, ah! You get. So the dog said, I'm not going there, that guy. So he left him alone. The dogs went back and sat down. Right. Heavy dog. Katha's gone to the dog. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Well, it was brought to my attention that
Chandan Baba.
it was brought to my attention some of the manjaris they don't have so much contact with Krishna, and some have more contact with Krishna, but some are more focused on Radharani. Is that true?
Question is, are some manjaris have more contact with Krishna or less contact with Krishna? More contact with Radharani, less contact with Radharani. I haven't read specifically about this subject, because the general impression I get is that the manjaris are defined as pran sakhis or nitya sakhis. There's 5 types of sakhis. Manjaris are in the category of nitya sakhis or pran sakhis. Pran sakhis are generally nitya parishads, like Rupa Manjari, Tulsi Manjari, Rati Manjari, Guna Manjari, Lavanga Manjari. They're called pran sakhis. And nitya sakhis are other sakhis, nitya parishads, but also the sadhana siddhas. Sadhana siddha manjaris, they become known as the nitya sakhi category. And all these pran sakhis, nitya sakhis, have a particular type of emotional outlook towards Radharani. It's called Radha Sneha Adik. Adik means extra, additional affection for Radharani more than Krishna. So the manjaris especially, many of the sakhis have sama sneha adik, the equal affection for Radha and Krishna. Sometimes they take Krishna's side, sometimes they take Radharani's side. Like Vrinda Devi is Krishna sneha adik, Dinishta Sakhi is Krishna sneha adik, and they live in Krishna's house in Nandagram. So they're not manjaris, they're sakhis. But the manjaris are also sakhis. But they're Krishna, so the ones that are Krishna sneha, they're more closer to Krishna. All the manjaris that I know, I've ever read, they're all Radha Sneha, which means they have more affection, more inclination, more attraction for Radharani, and they're more with Radharani than Krishna. They're only with Krishna, bring him to Radharani or help him meet with Radharani. That's what I know. Do you know anything other than that?
That sounds about what I've heard. That's about all I know.
That's all I've heard in the matter. Manjaris aren't, like Raghunath Das Goswami, he's a perfect manjari. He said, you say that Krishna's left Vrindavan and gone to Dwarka, I say, okay, good, fine. But you say Radharani's left Vrindavan and gone to Dwarka, I'll fly faster than Garuda and go to Dwarka to find Radharani. So Garuda flies at the speed of mind. So Raghunath Das Goswami says, you say Krishna's left Vrindavan, moved off to Dwarka, I say, okay, goodbye, have a good time. I don't care. But you say Radharani's left, I'll go wherever Radharani goes. So Das Goswami is Rati Manjari, Tulsi Manjari. He's showing the basic consciousness of all manjaris. The Radharani is everything. There's a verse in Radha Sudhanidhi, verse 259, where Prabhupada Saraswati says, I chant the best of mantras. I chant Gopal mantra, Krishna mantra, and I chant the best of japa, I chant Hari Krishna mantra. I worship the best of murtis. I worship the murti of Krishna, and I read about Srimad Bhagavatam. And all the time I'm doing all these sevas to Krishna. My constant prayer to Krishna is, please make me a maidservant of Radharani. Verse 259 of Radharani. So that's the mood of the mantra. That's the mood of Raghunaga Bhakta. We're chanting Krishna's Maha Mantra 16 rounds or 1 lakh or whatever. And we're worshipping Giriraj Shila, it's Krishna. Or we're worshipping Krishna. We're reading Bhagavatam, it's Krishna's book. We're doing Prikma Giriraj Krishna. Everything's Krishna, but our meditation, our aspiration, our sankalpa is, I want to be Radharani's maidservant. Krishna, if you're happy with all this seva, bless me that I'm a maidservant of Radharani. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Do or die, it's all for ride. She's sure you ride, Radharani. Do or die, it's all for ride. Radhe Shyam. More Cooch. Okay, Marlika is coming at you. Translate.
If we have a very big desire in our heart,
For what?
to come back to lotus feet of Radharani in this very life. But you understand that you have a lot of anarths and you are very fallen for it. And too selfish for it. Is it selfish desire to have desire to come back to lotus feet of Radharani in this very life, or you should understand that that in this life you cannot come back.
The question is, I'm not sure I identify with the logic of the question, but the question is, someone says they want to come back to Radharani's lotus feet. There's no coming back because you weren't there to begin with. You were in Moscow and the language, the wording is wrong. It's not coming back. It's on the way to Krishna, not on the way back to Krishna. Prabhupada wrote a book on the way to Krishna, not on the way back. So the idea, if I have so many nardas, but if in this life I want to attain Radharani's eternal service, is that okay? Or am I not qualified to think like that, or shouldn't I think like that? You must think like that. Otherwise, how you do bhajan? Bhajan is established by sankalpa. First you make a sankalpa means a statement of purpose. What are you trying to do? What is your intention? Statement of intention. What do you want to accomplish in this life? Oh, I don't know, I'll just hang it out, whatever happens. You have to be pointed. Ekeha Kurunandana. Pahushaka Nantascha Buddha Samita. You have to be Eka, what's that verse? Vyavasatmika Buddha Ekeha Kurunandana. You have to be Ek Nishta. Ek Ishta, Ek Nishta. Ek Ishta, Ek Nishta. One Ishta, one Nishta in your Ishta. So to want to be Radharani's eternal maidservant and attain her lotus feet in this life, that's what bhajan means. Otherwise there's no enthusiasm. You don't want something, now I want it now. I can't wait. So you can't wait, then you get fired up, you get active. No more time good, you won't be wasting time. You get up early, sleep late, get up early, or sleep early, get up early, whatever. But use every minute of your conscious awake serving Radha and Krishna. Then you'll attain what you want. Make it sankalpa, then you work hard and pray to Guru, and you'll attain perfection in this life. There's no reason why you can't attain perfection in this life. Because perfection comes by kripa. So if you have a guru, and proper parampara, then all the kripa is in your hand. So much power is in your hand, you don't even know how much power is in your hand. Etat sarvam, 7th canto Bhagavatam, 15th chapter, verse 25. Etat sarvam Guru Bhakti Yanjasa. everything that I mentioned, you can attain very quickly, yavasha, by Guru Bhakti, by love and devotion of Guru. Because a Guru means a Guru and Param Guru and Par Guru and Parameshi Guru and Samasti Guru. All line of Gurus means a Guru. Guru is not one person, he's a whole army of Gurus. Well, Guru is a little guy, he wants his power, but he's got 15 guys behind him. And the patriarch, the grand patriarch is Advaitacharya, Mahavishnu, Sadashiva. He's not a small timer. Sadashiva, Mahavishnu. He got a lot of arms. Everywhere in the Sarato Panipadam Tat Sarato Shishirogukam. Everywhere his hands and eyes and faces and legs. So that's why we take initiation, so we get all the mercy of Guru and Guru Parampara, which means Krishna, Bhagavan. So power package, supercharged, turbocharged. We're just lazy, that's the problem. We're lazy and stupid and dumb. And have so many anarthas and attachments. But chant Hare Krishna, everything will get dissolved in the fire of Harinam. Cheto Dharma Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagnir Vapanam. Shriya Kaiva Vichanika Vicharana Vidyavada Jivanam. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnam Yasar. Sarva Snavadam Pramijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. The Maha Mantra is so powerful. Always read the glories of the holy name. Remember the glories. Madharam Madharam Etam Mangalanam Mangalanam. Shadya Paragitam Helanam Va. Neglectfully chant. You chant with faith, without faith, neglectfully. You get sweetness when you chant. Madharam Madharam Mangalam Mangalam, all is Krishna's. Even Helena, you chant neglectfully. Shradya, Paragita, Helanam. Helanam means neglectfully. Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna. Neglectfully, still you get power, you get joy, you get happiness, get sweetness. Radhe, Radhe. What's the monkeys making noise? Galeri. That's a monkey, man.
Monkey.
He's inside?
Dono, Gilari or monkey?
Galeri and monkey singing together? What's going on?
Together.
Is it a duet or what?
Bandar Pichi,
All
Gilari.
together.
Oh yes, Bandar.
No, Pichi.
Oh yeah, Bar. He's Babaji's fenced. We done it. They come here all day, jump on the dean tree, that's the problem. Barbed wire, the wires are good with it, they jump on the tree. We still have monkeys all the time. I show you, they're Hanuman, you can't stop Hanuman. Can't stop monkeys. Okay, questions? Valentina, okay, here we go. Italian question. I want to say, go ahead.
Why Krishna promised to the gopis that he will come back to Vrindavana very soon after go to Mathura, but he never come back. But at the same time, it said that Krishna never leaves Vrindavana. So I don't understand this point, because it seems that Krishna never come back to Vrindavana because the gopis suffer so much for separation, but at the same time Krishna never leave Vrindavana.
The question is about Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but we see that Krishna leaves Vrindavan. If you take the understanding of Krishna from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna left Vrindavan and never came back to Vrindavan. That's the conclusion of the Bhagavatam, 90 chapters of the 10th canto. Krishna went to Mathura, went to Dwarka, he never came back to Vrindavan. But our Gaudiya Vaisnava acharyas, they give during commentaries, there's a verse in first canto where the queens of Dwarka are saying, Krishna, oftentimes you leave us, you go to Mathura, you go to Hastinapur. You go to Mathura, you go to Hastinapur, then you come back again. So there's a verse like that in first canto. So the acharyas cite that verse, they say indicates that Krishna comes back to Mathura. Regularly goes to Hastinapur to meet the Pandavas, Yudhishthira, and also comes to Mathura. So, but the Bhagavatam doesn't specifically say that. He comes to Vrindavan, it says Mathura, but acharyas say he's right next door, so he comes here also. And so it's true, the Bhagavatam says that Krishna never came back to Vrindavan, and that's a fact by the Bhagavatam. The commentaries of the acharyas, and also there's a book by Baladevi Vijibhushan called Aishwarya Kadambini. Aishwarya Kadambini, he explains how Krishna returns to Vrindavan. And then Krishna never leaves Vrindavan because Padma Puran says, Vrindavana Pritaja Ekam Padamagachti. Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan. So how is that so? Because Krishna has different forms. There's Mathura Krishna, Dwarka Krishna, Kurukshetra Krishna. They're all different Krishnas. So one Krishna went to Dwarka, but one Krishna stayed here. One Krishna stayed here and danced with the gopis every night. And Prabhupada's Krishna book, he said when Krishna stopped in Akrura Ghat is on the border of Mathura. It's right on the border of Vrindavan and Mathura. It's called Akrura Ghat. And Akrura stopped there to bathe. Then Krishna Balaram got off the chariot, went back to Nandagram. And Vasudeva Krishna and Sankarshan and Balaram went off to Mathura and Dwarka. So they say that Krishna stayed, his Vav expansion stayed at Vrindavan, and his other Prakash expansion went to Mathura Dwarka. So it's some things one and different. Shinti Veda Veda Tava. Krishna's in Vrindavan, he's not in Vrindavan. And we have Prema Krishna's here for you. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochane Santaksayarudeshu Yokyantu. If you have Prema, you see Krishna everywhere with the eyes of love. So the Siddha Mahatmas are praying Bhakti, they see Krishna right here, right now. They see Apricot Leela right here in Vrindavan. That's why we do bhajan in Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan, Krishna can be seen. You can't see Krishna in Rome. You see Krishna in Vrindavan, in Radha Kunda, Govardhan, Nandagram, Nidhivan, Sevakunj. Saints come to Vrindavan to see Krishna. All the stories of people seeing Krishna is in Vrindavan. Sadhvis and ladies, saintly ladies and saintly gentlemen have seen Krishna in Vrindavan. Many stories are there, new and old. So be a lucky one to see Krishna in Vrindavan. Anything is possible by the power of the Holy Dham. Dham is Chit Shakti, Sandhini Shakti. Powerful. I remember once Babaji, 5-6 years ago, Babaji was building a house. I said, what do you want to do? Oh, I live here all the time like you do. I had to come and go to the beach and this, that. She said, I want to live here all the time. So a couple years later, she said she would live here for 3 years without going anywhere. I said, oh, I remember, I said, oh, her Sankala came true. You know, whatever, COVID, this, I don't know, whatever. But somehow she's been here for 3 years, hasn't gone anywhere. It's nice, I'm so happy for you. It's real boring when your house is empty, you're not here, it's not fun. If you're there, it's nice, it's good. Good energy. remember you told me that? You said, I want to live here. I don't want to leave Vrindavan. I want to live here. Stay. Like, well, I have to go get a visa. I have to go this and that. All of a sudden, oh, she's not going anywhere. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Good. Very good. You can go 3 years, you can go 30 more, and keep going. What's stopping you? Everything over there will keep going on. Without you, believe me. You don't need anybody over there. They need you, but they can come here and meet you. You got a lot of rooms, they can stay here. You fit 50 girlfriends in your basement. No problem. Questions?
My question.
Yeah.
From internet.
You have a question?
What's your favorite lila?
What's the question?
What is your favorite lila? What is your favorite lila?
My favorite lila. What is my favorite lila? I think Ras Lila is my favorite lila. There's so many flavors are there. There's separation, there's union, there's frustration, there's rejection, there's acceptance. It's a real drama. Krishna invites them all, come for Rasa dance together. He says, what are you doing here? Why you came here? Go home, it's not right, go out. And then there's anticlimactic, and then there's separation, then there's crying, and then he leaves all the gopis, and then he leaves Radharani, they meet again, and there's finally celebration, rejoicing. It's got all the emotions are packed in one. All the different rasas are Rasa. All the Gona rasas are there, Vira ras, and Abhuta ras, all rasas are Rasa is Rasa Lila. So I like it too much. I narrated on my website, I narrated Rasa Lila from 5, 6 different shastras. Rasa Lila described in Nanda Chambu, Gopal Chambu, Bhavana sung about 6 or 8 different Rasa Lilas called Rasa Lila Collection. I just read through them because I like all the different flavors. Everyone's different. Gopal Chambu is a really nice description of Rasa Lila. And Nanda Chambu is a very nice description. Very detailed, very nice. What's your favorite, Leela? You don't know?
I think in the morning when Radha Krishna.
Waking in the Kunja Banga?
Yes, in the morning, early morning.
In the Kunja?
Yes.
3:36 to 6. Parrots are coming, singing, and trying to get up and getting up and not getting up. Yeah, that's a very nice video. That's a very famous video. The Kunja Banga, breaking the Kunja Lila. That's a very sad video too.
Sad.
That's nice video. Okay.
Thank you.
Any net questions?
Yes.
Net.
Are Nitya Siddha Jivas manifestation of Swarupa Shakti and Nitya Baddha Jivas manifestation of Tatastha Shakti?
What's the question?
Means Siddha Jivas, are they manifestation of Swarupa Shakti, and Nitya Baddha Jivas, they are manifestation of Tattva Shakti. So Tatastha Shakti. Is it correct? It's been asked. Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha Jivas.
Questions asked. Nitya Siddhas, are they Swarupa Shakti or Tatastha Shakti? Nitya Siddhas are Swarupa Shakti, and the sadhana siddhas or tatastha shakti, and they always in the category of tatastha shakti, but they become sadhana siddha. They're now conditioned souls, nitya buddha, but it's not nitya. They're not eternally conditioned. The conditioning come to an end when they get liberated and go to the spiritual world. They become sadhana siddha, but their category of energetic category is tatastha shakti. But the nitya siddhas are swarup shakti. They're expansion of Krishna Radharani. Question? Yeah, more. You got a question there, or more? Huh? Okay.
It is said that religion without philosophy is sentimentality, but in Vrindavan, the love towards Krishna of the residents of the holy Dham is so intense and real, spontaneous. You can explain a little more about this.
More about what?
Means in Vrindavan, it's
In Vrindavan, the love of the Vishwasis is intense and pure, and
Yeah.
so that's true.
means religion without philosophy is sentimentality. Means in the
I don't know all that. I don't know all that stuff.
Yeah,
These are different coins, different special phrases people have, and I don't pay much attention to them. we don't follow any of that stuff. Our religion is based on a very perfect philosophy coming from the Upanishads and Gita and Bhagavatam. Goswami explanations of those books. So our philosophy is perfect, and our sentiments are all transcendental sentiments based on loving and serving Radha and Krishna. So we don't sentimental this, that. It doesn't have anything to do with Gaudiya Vaisnavism. All our sentiments are transcendental emotions. They're all spiritual emotions related to Radha and Krishna. So there's nothing mundane about our sentiments or our feelings of love towards Radha and Krishna. Bhakti is transcendental. It has nothing to do with material sentiments. It's totally Bhakti is totally alokik. There's no ego, there's no selfishness. Otherwise, it's not bhakti. Anya vilashti shunya jnana karma yamita anukayana Krishna shilan bhakti uttama. Uttam bhakti, there's no covering of jnana karma or sentimentality. It's all transcendental sentiments, spiritual sentiments of the purified Atma. And our philosophy is a perfect philosophy because it's given by God. The rishis empowered by God. It's not some mundane, because our philosophy is sanatana, it's eternal, it's not man-made, it didn't begin at a certain time, it's eternal. It's called Sanatana Dharma. It's not 2,000, Christianity 2,000 years old, Islam 2,000, 3,000 years old. There's no age of Vedic Dharma. Vedic Dharma, Sanatana Dharma is ageless, it's nitya. It's in all ages and all times. It's millions and millions. It's from eternal time, this philosophy. There's no beginning. It's Bhagavat Tattva, Nitya Tattva. What's the time now?
it's 5:20.
5:20. Okay. Any more net questions? Right. This is on or what? You can't, you have to be so close to it, you can't hear. Right, Sean. Anyway.
Like comparing devotees, is it because there is comparison like Yudhishthir Maharaj is in the higher level than Hanuman? It is, I heard somewhere. So, is it correct? If it is, how it is correct? Because we hear so much about Hanuman, like he does a lot of service from Yudhishthir and Yudhishthir.
Devotees are at different intensities and different levels of prema. That's a fact. The perfect devotees who are trying to follow are Radharani and the Gopis of Vrindavan. They have the most degree of love. And there's different intensities of love. Sadharani, Rati, Samandasarati, Samartarati. There's all different kinds of devotees, Hanuman, Pandavas. We have all the time to make analysis of different levels of love. But we're not concerned about all those different levels of love. We're concerned with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he followed the gopis. Ramya Kachirupasana Brajabadubir, Sakalpita. We follow the gopis of Vrindavan, we worship the gopis of Vrindavan, especially Radharani, and they're the greatest and most perfect lovers of Krishna. No one has love for them. No one has love for Krishna as like the gopis of Vrindavan. Krishna himself says, I can never repay the gopis. Their love is so great. The Pariyam. So the love of the gopis, even the greatest lovers of Krishna, Lakshmi Devi, she wants to be a gopi. Shiva is a great lover of Krishna. He wants to be a gopi. Brahma is a lover of Krishna. He wants to be a gopi. Narada Muni is a lover of Krishna. He wants to be a gopi. Everyone wants to be a gopi. The queens of Dwarka, they worship the gopis. They have verses where the queens of Dwarka are glorifying the Braja gopis because they know their love is superior to their love. When Krishna is in Dwarka, he's not dreaming about Rukmini or Satyabhama. He's living with 16,000 queens. Every night he dreams of Radharani. In his dreams he says, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. And Rukmini, Satyabhama, they wake up and they ask Rohini, because Rohini is living in Dwarka with Balaram. And they ask Rohini, you were in Braj, you lived in Vrindavan with Krishna and Balaram. You know all these gopis, who is this Radharani? Oh, I'll tell you about Radharani. So Rohini told her about Radharani. They said, wow, she really loves Krishna, amazing, we can never be like that. One time Krishna wanted to test the queens of Dwarka. So he went outside, he got up in the middle of the night, he left the palace, and went out in the forest and played the flute. Very enchanting Murli he played, unbelievably enchanting. And all the queens woke up, and none of the queens found Krishna next to her. Because Krishna expands himself into 16,000 forms, be one form of Krishna with every queen. So Satyabhama was by herself, Rukmini was by herself, Mitravinda, Satya, all the queens are by themselves. And they're all sitting up in a bed. And they all heard this flute sound coming outside from beyond the palace walls. And it was so bewitching and enchanting. So who was playing that flute? It's so, I'm going crazy. My heart is, I feel so lusty, I feel so attracted, so many loving sentiments being drawn through that flute like a iron filing going to a magnet. So they all ran out of their palaces. They met on the street together. They said, "You hear that flute? Yeah. Is Krishna in your palace? No. It must be. Who is it? It must be Krishna. Who else can attract our hearts like that? It must be Krishna. What should we do? Well, we should run to him, but we can't. We can't go. We can't leave the palace grounds. We can't leave the outer walls. There's 7 walls around our palace. There's 7 walls and 7 chowkiyars. They'll say, where are you going? They'll stop us. They'll arrest us. They won't let us go. They say, no, Krishna's calling us the flute. They say, I don't hear the flute. Because only the queens could hear the flute, no one else could hear it. Just when Krishna plays the flute at night, only the gopis hear the flute, no one else hears the flute. Chachila doesn't hear the flute. Kutila doesn't hear the flute. Yashoda doesn't. No one hears the flute. Only Radharani and the gopis hear Krishna's flute. So only the queens heard Krishna's flute. So they all went back in. So Krishna went back in and said, so now you know the difference between the gopis' love and your love. When I played the flute, the gopis ran out of everything and left their husbands. Husbands are beating with sticks. They ran about without their husbands. They ran away from their husbands and sons and everything. You couldn't leave the palace because you're afraid. But your love is not as great as the gopis. So that's why I chant Radharani's name when I'm dreaming. So this pastime is there. Jai Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Ananda Kanda Bhagavan ki, Radha Rani ki.
Jai.
Yes?
There is a question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, online. Question from Danudar Das from Serbia. how today's traditional Rag Marg Parivars view the statement that the holy name will be chanted all over the world, will be sung everywhere in the world. How the traditional Rag Marg Parivars view the statement that the holy name of Krishna will be sung everywhere in the world. So what do you
The person asking a question, how the traditional Parivars react to the statement in Chaitanya Bhagavat that Lord Chaitanya said, my holy name will be chanted in every town and village. Prithiviti, Nagarati Gram, whatever. Sarada Prachara Mara. It actually says that preaching will be going on, it doesn't say chanting. Wonder? Okay. So what do they think of that? They think it's great. I mean, the traditional Parivars are not like some kind of pink elephants or something. Traditional Parivars are a group of devotees who are following the original teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the six Goswamis, and they don't adopt a lot of the modern ideas. But it doesn't mean they don't travel, they don't preach, they travel around the world, they do kirtan all around the world. I don't know what the angle of this question is. Traditional Parivars, modern Parivars. The difference is traditional follows the Purvacharyas, and they don't follow so much the modern Acharyas, innovations and introductions. They don't accept their introductions of philosophy. But chanting everywhere in town and village, so many devotees in traditional Parivars are traveling everywhere, chanting Hari Krishna and preaching Krishna Bhakti. So they're not traditional Parivars doesn't mean you're locked in a cell. The traditional Parivars, they go anywhere. They travel anywhere and chant Hari Krishna. I don't know what the question, what they're trying to drive at. It's not a cause for division. Traditional Parivars think this way and modern Parivars think this way. Everyone agrees that Krishna's name will be heard in every town and village. It's going on. Krishna's name is being heard in every town and village, and traditional Parivars are going on, and modern Parivars are going on, so everything's going on. So what's the issue? What's the question? There's no issue, there's no question. Whether you're traditional, modern, traditional Parivar, modern Parivar, wherever you go, you're going to speak about Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. So be it, chant Hare Krishna. That's a funny question. Try to create some duality or some bade. There's no bade. Harmony is what's required, not bade. Bade is Kali Yuga. Bade means differences. Kali Yuga is always trying to divide and fight. Divide and fight. You're doing this, we're doing it, we're better, you're better. Everyone's better. A Vaishnava always thinks everyone's better than me. If I'm lying on the ground, lower than the straw in the street, everybody's higher than me. Shinada peace nichana. On the straw in the street's lying on the grass. I crawl under the straw in the street. So everybody's stepping on me, everybody's above me, everyone's big, I'm small. I'm very small. I'm nobody. Okay, I'm nobody. I'm a traditional Parivar. I'm one of them. So what? What's wrong with that? That's good. You're good, we're good, we're all good. Everything's good. What's bad? Everyone's trying to find something bad, something to fight about. I don't like yellow dresses. You stink. Let's fight. So she likes yellow. She wears yellow. Okay. Any stupid reason we want to fight find a fight. Let's call you. Pick a fight. What's your problem with traditional Parivars? You worried about them? They're a very small group in the world. The world's dominated by modern parivars, modern movements. That's good. They're doing a good thing. It's also good to know the ancient truths and ancient teachings also. Everything is good. Everything's Krishna's will. What is outside of Krishna's will? Everything's in Krishna's will. Everything is good. Everything is good in this world. Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Niramanam. Any more questions? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. My question is, how
Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Dandavat.
Who am I Dandavat Pranaming to?
I cannot see now the name. My question is, how does a devotee follow Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti at the stage of Anartha-Nivriti itself? Thank you very much, Maharaj.
The Nitai Center's team. Some philosophical arguments. How do you follow Rag Bhakti at the level of Nartha-Nivriti? This is described in Rag Vartman Chandrika by Vishwanath. You can start Rag Bhakti at the beginning of Bhakti. If you have greed for it, you have greed and attraction to worship the Brijvasis, especially the Gopis of Vrindavan. You want to be like them, you want to be among them, you want to serve them, you want to serve Radha and Krishna like Gopis. You like Radharani and the Gopis and you're attracted to them and you have an interest in them, then you start by reading about them, hearing them, worshiping them, and hearing classes about their loving pastimes. Live in Vrindavan as much as you can. Read about Vrindavan, read about Radha and Krishna, and worship them. And here it talks about devotees that are on Rag Marg, talking about Radha and Krishna. And then you cultivate your bhakti, you cultivate your Raganuga Bhakti and your interest in love and attraction of Radha and Krishna. It starts right in the beginning, and there's never nothing stopping you. If you have greed and you have interest and attraction, then that's your starting point. It starts when you have greed. You desire these things, you're attracted to these things. You have specialized focused interest. Most people don't have any focused interest. Like I often said, Krishna appears before you right now. It says, if I take you to Goloka Vrindavan right now, what kind of spiritual body you want, and how do you want to serve me? I don't know. Just take me. I'll figure it out when I get there. I'll find something to do, I'm sure. Just take me there. Now you have to have some idea of where to fit in and how you want to fit in and where you want to go. Very specific. So most people don't have any idea about that. They don't have any particular interest. They're not thinking of any particular interest or any fixed idea. But if they have a fixed idea, then that's really good. Because when you do bhajan, you have to make sankalpa to do bhajan. Sankalpa means statement of intention. Because you're doing, like someone says, why are you doing bhajan? What do you want to achieve? I don't know, I want to become pure. I want to become pure. I want to develop love for Krishna. Okay, that's good. That's really good. But it's not very specific. It's a kind of amorphous sankalpa. Because then how do you do bhajan? Because you don't have any specific, you have a specific sankalpa. I want to be like this. I want to be a gopi in the spiritual world. Like the Shruti-chari rishis. In the chapter 87, the 10th canto, it's Shruti-stuti. The prayers by personified Vedas. They're the Shrutis. They live in Shweta-dweep. They live in Shweta-dweep with Shirdakshay Vishnu. And they chant Purusha Sukta prayers and wake up Vishnu every day. And the great rishis. They heard about the gopis from Narada Muni, and he became attracted to gopis and followed Rag Bhajan. The Shruti-charyas followed Raghunaga Bhakti and Gopi Bhav, and they became born as gopis and entered Krishna's Leela and danced to Krishna, became his wives, became his girlfriends. So they followed a specific form of bhajan, worshipping in the mood and way of the gopis. So they attained that. So Rag Marg means when you do bhajan, you should have a focus. I read everything about Radha and Krishna. I want to be a gopi, I want to be a manjari like Rupa Manjari and Rati and Tulsi Manjari. So I read all the books by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. I follow Rupa and Raghunath as a sadhaka. I follow Rupa Manjari and Tulsi Manjari as in my meditation and my prayers, my aspiration. I want to be like Tulsi Manjari. I want to brush Radharani's hair. I want to massage Radharani's feet. I want to do all these different sevas for Radharani like the Manjaris do. And that's how I do bhajan, that's how I pray, and that's how I meditate, and that's what I'll get in my perfection. You're welcome. What else you have? What else you have? Another question?
There is.
Okay. Anybody else have a question here? Any of our beloved people here? Yeah.
Bhagavatam starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And is there any significance for the name Vasudeva? Means Vyasadeva starts like that.
Bhagavatam starts with the name Vasudeva because generally Bhagavan is referred to as Narayana or Vasudeva. Throughout the Bhagavatam, throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, and most all Puranas and all literatures describing Bhagavan, the most common name describing Bhagavan is Narayana or Vasudeva. That's just the way, that's the preferred name, Vasudeva or Narayana. But there's a whole Sandarbha called Krishna Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. He analyzes the name of Krishna. Krishna is the perfect name for Bhagavan that describes all the different aspects of his personality more than Vasudeva and Narayan. But in the Bhagavatam itself, the first canto says, Vasudeva Pramaka, Vasudeva, the whole big long verse of Vasudeva is everything. But Vasudeva says, in the Gita it says, Bhavanam Jamanamante Jnanavan Mahavete Vasudeva Sarvamati. So Vasudeva Sarvamati, even Gita, Krishna is saying Vasudeva is everything. Even Krishna is calling Bhagavan Vasudeva. So Vasudeva is the most popular name for Krishna, for Bhagavan, Vasudeva Narayan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So what's your question?
I want to know, is there any significance of Vasudeva in Ragamarga?
Ragmarg, we worship Krishna. We worship Radha and Krishna and follow the gopis. Vasudeva is just, it's the Bhagavatam Puranas describe Krishna as Narayan Vasudeva. But when Gargamuni did a name-giving ceremony for Krishna, he said, Narayan Sama. He said, your son is Narayan Sama. It's a verse in 10th canto of Bhagavatam. So Nanda Maharaj, you should know you're Krishna Lal, Nanda Lal, Yashoda Lal. He's like equal to Narayan. He's Narayana Sama, equal to Narayan. So they think when Krishna killed all these ferocious demons that he must be Narayan's doing it on behalf of Krishna. And it's a fact. Narayan comes out of Krishna. Vasudeva, Narayan comes out of Krishna and kills all demons. So Vasudeva is Krishna, Krishna is Vasudeva. This is another name for Krishna. Krishna has 1,001 names. Krishna Sahasranam, Vishnu Sahasranam. So Vasudeva and Narayan are the popular names of Bhagavan in all Puranas. We're Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Krishna. There's a whole Tava Sandarbha called Krishna Sandarbha, which describes why we worship Krishna. You can read Krishna Sandarbha. Saki Priya ji, question?
Yeah, Davat pronouns, Maharaj, Tulsidas. Question is, why devotees wearing shikha hair? What is mental or spiritual benefits and esoteric meaning of it?
Shika?
Shikha, yes. Why devotees wear shikha? Is there any esoteric meaning or mental meaning?
Why wear Shika? There's all kinds of interpretations and explanation of Shika. I don't remember, I can't remember what I read. But it's not required to even have a Shika. Having a Shika or not having a Shika doesn't determine the degree of your Krishna consciousness. Some people have really long Shikas are totally a Maya. And Krishna doesn't use it as a handle to take you out of samsara. Krishna is not so gross. The Sika is generally, Sika is identification as a Vishnu Bhakta, as Sika. Male is, but it's not required, it's nowhere in Shastra required you have to have a Sika. Generally, Vaishnavas are identified with Sika, males wear Sika, but it's not required. These ladies aren't Vaishnavas, ladies don't have a Sika. They have a long Sika, one long Sika. There's a distinguished Buddhist from Vaishnavas, probably has some start in history, because traditional Vaishnavas had long hair. Yudhishthira had long hair and beards, you know. They didn't have shaved heads. I'm not sure, but you know, the Pandavas, I don't think that's Sikhs. I don't think Sikha is an ancient thing. I think Sikha is a modern thing within the last 2,000 years. Probably has a lot to do with defining a Vaishnava from a Buddhist. Buddhist is nothing. They believe in nothing, so they have no hair. Gotta shave everything off. So Sikha meant you're a Vaishnava, not a Buddhist. But traditionally, men had long hair. We don't see any description of Sikhs and Pandavas and all that stuff. I think it's a new introduction. I don't really know much about it, to tell you the truth. But it's not absolutely required, I know that. That's a funny question. Yeah.
At which stage of Bhakti Jataruchi for Radha Kunda Bhakti will manifest? At which stage of Bhakti Jataruchi for Radha Kunda Bhakti will manifest?
What's the question?
At which stage of Bhakti Jataruchi will manifest for Radha Kunda Bhakti? Jataruchi.
Jataruchi.
There is a Jataruchi and Jataruchi. Yes. Yes. No, maybe
I don't know Jataruchi. There's a stage of bhakti after Nishtha called Ruchi, which is a pretty elevated stage. It's described in Madhurya Kadamani. Was a stage and characteristic. A Jataruchi means you have Ruchi, and a Jataruchi means you don't have Ruchi. But Raganuga Bhakti doesn't have anything to do with that. Raganuga Bhakti, Jiva Goswami comments in Bhakti Rasmini Jasinu, he says, Kinchan Anubhuti. You have a slight attraction, slight Ruchi, called Ruchi, but nothing to do with a Jataruchi or Jataruchi. You have attraction for it, you can start. That's all. You have attraction, you have greed to practice, and you start wherever you're at, in Arthanivritti or Nish or wherever you are. Starts right in the beginning. And you gradually go through all different stages, but you practice Raganuga Bhakti instead of Vaidhi sadhana. They're parallel paths. One form of bhakti is Vaidhi sadhana, one's called Raganuga sadhana. They're both sadhana bhakti. They both go through Anartha Nivritti, Nishta Ruchi. They go parallel. One leads to Brajabhav and love for Radha and Krishna, one goes Vaikuntha. Vaidhi sadhana goes Vaikuntha, Lakshmi Narayan. And Brajabhav and Raganuga Bhakti goes to Vrindavan and Radha and Krishna. There's different degrees and intensities of Bhav and Prem among the two also. Some other question? What's the time now? It seems like it's must be 6 o'clock.
5:45.
5:45. Weather is still relaxing. Tilak's nice. Got it down. Looks good. Yeah.
Maharaj, if we have to follow Mahaprabhu, then we have to do, according to him, we have to do upasana under the gopis. We have to follow the footsteps of gopis. But what if someone is in Dasarati or in Vatsalya or in Sakya, then is he going against Mahaprabhu?
Mahaprabhu generally emphasized we should follow the gopis of Vrindavan, and he was exemplifying that Gopi Bhava Radharani, and all his followers were teaching following the gopis. What if you're interested in Dasarati or Vatsalarati? Are you going against Mahaprabhu? You're not going against Mahaprabhu, because there's one verse, there's only one verse. He said he came to broadcast the 4 rasas of Braj. Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura. So if one wants to follow Dasarati, Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasa Sindhu, he should model himself after Raktak and Patrak. If he wants to follow Sakyarati, he should follow after Coward Boys, Sridham and Subal. If he wants to follow Vatsalya, he should follow Yashoda and Nanda. You read about them, hear about their interactions with Krishna, the Coward Boys, in the Bhagavatam and other Shastra. But you won't get much support from Gaudiya Vaisnava. There's no Gaudiya Vaisnava community in the whole world that practices Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti and Sekhi Ras or Vatsalya Ras. No one ever heard anywhere. Any Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they're practicing Raganuga Bhakti, they're practicing Gopi Bhav. So generally when we think of Gaudiya Sampradaya, we think of Raganuga Sampradaya and specifically Gopi Bhav, following, worshipping Radha and Krishna like the gopis. Ramya Kachirupasana Brajabadubir. This verse by Srinath Chakravarti, who is a disciple of the Vaitacharya, Vaita Parivar. He explained what is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Radha Bhagavad Vajeshatanya Sridham Sadhana Vrindavan. We worship Krishna Vrindavan. The way we worship Krishna Vrindavan is like the gopis. So this is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So Mahaprabhu, you can be under the umbrella of Mahaprabhu and worship Gauranga Mahaprabhu and worship in Dasarati, Sekirati, Vatsalarati, but it's a minority approach. There's no gurus in that line, and it'd be a little hard to get sadhusanga or much help there. And nowadays there's a lot of people talking about Sekirati and stuff like that. I don't know where they come from, but people have that idea. But where are the books, where are the gurus, where are the Rupa Raghunath Pada, all our books tell us about Rupa and Raghunath. And Rupa Raghunath are manjaris, Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari, Tulsi Manjari. It's like being a Neembark Sampradaya, I want to be a coward boy. That doesn't work. They worship Nitya Nikunjalila. Like, we get initiated in Kam Gayatri. Kam Gayatri is for Madhurya Rati, Bas. There's not, where's Kam Gayatri with Sakirati, Vatsayarati? Or the initiation mantra is Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri. Gopal mantra, when you take it from different rasas, different styratis. The Kam Gayatri is only Madhurya Rati, only Gopi Bhav. Radha Krishna. That's all. There's no other second thing. The Gopal mantra you can take for Vatsalya or Sakirasa also. You can interpret it that way. But the Gaudiya Samurai, we get both mantras, and both mantras are supposed to complement each other and help develop Gopi Bhav, Madhurya Rati. You're swimming upstream. It's not easier to swim downstream. Don't be odd one out. Jai Gopal. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Keshava Madhava Dinadaya, Ashuta Keshava, Sridhara Madhava, Gopala Govinda Hari. Shama Sundara Kaniyava, Girivardhari Nanda Dula. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal. Questions? Chandan Baba.
I have plenty, but they're just not coming to me.
It's too hot to think. Your brain's too hot. I don't blame you. Okay, Brahmachari Baba. Hare Krishna.
How can I increase my concentration while reading? Actually, it's very difficult to read scriptures.
How can you increase your concentration in reading?
Because it's very difficult to concentrate while reading.
Vahatseva Vasudeva Kataruchi. You get ruchi for Vasudeva Kata by serving saintly people. You have to serve more Vaishnavas. You render service to Vaishnavas, then you get a taste for Hari Katha. There's shlokas like that in the Bhagavatam. Vahatseva, you serve Vaishnavas, you get a taste for Hari Katha. Are you getting a taste for Hari Katha? You're serving Vaishnavas. Should get a taste. And you read. If you read it, you get a taste for reading. Like how you're not hungry, but you're not that hungry, but somebody says you're not hungry, but try some of these things I made. They're pretty good. I remember one guy he came to a Sunday feast and he said, I'm not interested in this food, but I'll sit with you guys and eat. So okay, try a little bit. Okay, I'm not interested in this food. Okay, try it. What's this hollow? Oh, it's okay. That's okay. You want a little more? Yeah, a little more. And then he said a little more. And he had a big pile of all of it. He said, I just want to take a little bit, and he ended up having a big pile of all of it. So reading is like that. If you read, you get attachment, you get attraction to read. Just try to read. Because reading has its own power, has its own attraction. But you should read something you're attracted to. You don't read, I have to read, so what do you want to read? So you have a choice to read. You want to read Leela, you want to read Tava, you want Gaur Leela, Krishna Leela, Radha Leela. There's so many books to read. So think, what do I want to read? And you read and you get a taste for it. You surrender to Shastra, Shastra reciprocates with you. The Shastra is Krishna. So reading is surrendering. Yaya tamam prapadyante tantadajaya vajamyam. 4:11 of Gita, you surrender to Krishna, he rewards you. He rewards you. You surrender to read and he'll reward you. You just do it, don't just talk about it all day and night. I don't Just sit down and start reading. Hey, this is good. Page 2, 3, hey, this is good. Keep going. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. Well, I've been missing all this stuff. I realize how nice this is. Just do it. Don't just get out the mental platform. Just get off your and start reading. So many books. Govinda Lila Amrita, Krishna Vanasara Sangra. There's so many books. Chaitanya Mangal is a great book about Chaitanya. It's really fun to read. No philosophy, just fun. We published it. Chaitanya Mangal, Radha Krishna Pastimes of Radha Kunda. I gave you all a bunch of books to read. Fun books. Radha Kunda Madhuri. That's a good one. That's a sweet one. Appreciate Vrindavan. Read that. That's fun. Read about the monkeys and the dogs and the trees and everything. It was written in 1991. It's an old classic. 31 years ago. Appreciate, you ever read Appreciate Vrindavan? It's a classic. It's really a fun book. Talk about monkeys and dogs and trees and Yamuna and Giraj. Everything's in there. I wrote that in Radha Damodar. I was living in Radha Damodar Temple. I wrote that. Actually, I had a dream. In my dream, Prabhupada came to me and said, write 2 books. Write one about me and Radha Damodar, write one about Vrindavan. And these are chapter titles. He gave me chapter titles. I woke up from the dream, I wrote down chapter titles. But then the book grew. It had like 10 chapters, I ended up with 18. I wrote these 10, which became in a dream. And then I had to write more, so I wrote more. So it became 18. But Prabhupada told me in a dream, 10 of them. I remember all the devotees, when I first came, everyone was going crazy out of the book. Sri Ram said was his Bible. He used to read all the time. He gave him a lot of inspiration. It was the first book of its kind that came out, 1991. I had been living in Vrindavan for 4 years, since 87. I went crazy about Vrindavan. I fell in love with Vrindavan. I was reading every book about Vrindavan and writing all notes. I used to read, people come to Radha Damodar, I read from my notebooks. They say, you should put this in a book, it's too good, so much nectar. So I said, okay, I'll print a book. So I printed a book. I sold more copies of that book than anybody. I sold like 10,000 copies of that book. Made a lot of money, I gave it all away also. Jai Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Ruskies. My Ruski girls. I've only been with Indians for the last 35 years. Now I have some Ruskies. Any more questions, Brahmachari Baba?
I got some answer. I got the answer. More questions are there, like basically like how do we understand that we have committed a Vaishnava offense, or is it like sometimes like self-beating mechanism of the mind? How to understand that whether I have committed a Vaishnava offense, or is it like a self-beating mechanism of the mind?
How do I know if I commit a Vaishnava aparadha or an illusion created by the mind? Is that what you're saying? A Vaishnava is a person, has a name, and you'll feel, when you see that person, if you offend him, you'll feel bad when you see him. It's pretty easy, there's no mystery about it. You're a human being, you have sensitivity, you have feelings. So if you hurt somebody's feelings by your behavior, by your bad words, when you see that person, you'll feel bad in your heart. And that badness you feel is a result of aparadha you made that devotee. And you should go and beg forgiveness from him and do seva, give him some mahaprasad, and fall at his feet and say, please forgive me, I made offenses to you. That's the only way you get forgiven, by submitting to the Vaishnava you offended. It's black and white. It's no imagine. It's not imagination created by the mind. You'll feel pinched in your heart. Your heart won't feel soft. You won't feel clear, happy-hearted. Only an offenseless person will have a happy heart. Like some people make offense to other people, but that person has made offense who doesn't make offense to them. It's not, offense isn't a two-way street. It can be two-way street. A lot of times it's one-way street. If somebody is popular or famous, and a lot of people become envious and offensive towards that person. That's their bad luck. That's they're haunted by their anarthas. Haunted by the ghost of your anarthas. Because the heart is not clean, it has anarthas. As you bhakti bhajan, and your heart becomes pure and clear like a crystal. And you don't have any. People may not like you, and they speak bad about you, but you don't have any enemies yourself, or speak bad about anybody yourself. Life is like that. Just, like you say, water on a duck's back. The duck goes out in the rain, he doesn't get wet. You go out in the rain, you get all wet. Duck sits there. Oh, duck, I'm cool. He has oily feathers. There's all oil on his feathers, and water rolls off the duck's back. Boom, boom. So when you're pure in heart, nothing can touch you. Things roll off you. Like when the demons were attacking Prahlad, the weapons were bouncing off Prahlad and knocking out the guys who threw the weapon. The guy he took a sword to chop off Prahlad's head, and it bounced off Prahlad and cut the guy's head off himself. And boing, shoot. Boomerang, ricochet. Because whatever offense you throw out to somebody, it's offenseless. It comes back on you twice as hard. You can't offend an offenseless person. You can offend, but you can't affect them. They're not affected. You're affected, big time. You can lose everything by aparad. You can lose everything. You can cut a tree down all the way to the ground, but it may grow back also because it has roots in the ground. So bhakti lata, you can cut all the branches off, but you still have the root. The mole is there, the bhakti mole is there. The seed of bhakti is in the ground. But maybe not seen for a couple of lifetimes. You make Vaishnava aparad, for 2 lives you may be punished with no bhakti. You kept away from bhakti and kept away from Vaishnavas. Krishna will let you. You have the bhakti sanskara, but you have to wait 2 births for it to manifest again. Bhakti is eternal. It'll be with you eternal, but it becomes covered over temporarily. 50 years, 60 years, 100 years. Like sometimes people come to the Sunday feast all the time. They come every Sunday feast for 50 years. They ask Prabhupada, this guy comes every Sunday feast. He knows all the sannyasis, he knows all the devotees. Why doesn't he join? Why isn't he initiated? He says Yamaraj is punishing him for some offense in last life. He's not letting him join. Jiva Goswami also describes we could be suffering from offenses from last life. Someone may be doing offenseless bhakti in this life, and he still can't get bhava and prem because he's being punished for offenses from last life. That's how spooky you can get. You're not doing any offenses in this life, you're not attaining perfection in this life because you're still suffering from reaction of last life's offenses. That's why the whole Chaitanya Bhagavat is all about don't make offenses. There's hundreds of stories to describe don't make offenses. That's why in Kali Yuga it's best to stay alone. Don't mix up with people. If you mix up with people, offenses are bound to, you're bound to hear offenses. Hearing offenses is also the same as making offenses. You hear offense, you also get a reaction. So he says, when you hear any offense, you should run from there as fast as you can. You should cut out the person's tongue, but you can't do that. It's not advised, unless you're Kshatriya. Then you should run away, block your ears, run away. If you hear offense, you get a reaction. It's a razor's edge, they say. Bhakti's a razor's edge. No association is better than bad association. Nirjan bhajan is good. Nirjan means not nirjan, means no bad jan. Because you're Jan, Krishna is also a Jan. He's Janeshwara. He's a controller of all janas. So you do bhajan alone, it means you're with Radha and Krishna and Guru. That's what alone, for a devotee, that's what alone means. I'm with Radha and Krishna and with Guru. I'm never alone. One time, Prabhupada was walking in New York, he was crossing 2nd Avenue, and Radharani asked him, he said, do you ever miss your Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta? Because now it's 1967, and he left in 1936. That's 40 years ago, or 30 years ago. He said, and Prabhupada said, no, I never miss my Guru. He's always with me. My Guru is always with me. So this is the fact. I think that's it. Any more? That's it, huh? Okay. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.